everyone. Hi. I'm Looney. Welcome to Mapless. That's Pete. How are you?
I'm well, Looney. It's good to see you again, and
I
it's Thursday night, which
know.
is so exciting.
Yes, quarter to Friday.
But I must admit, I'm very nervous.
Why?
Very, very nervous.
Why?
You know, for the last few weeks, we've had our phenomenal producer, James.
Yeah, oh yes.
And he's so reliable, and he's just absolutely wonderful, and the show works perfectly.
Yes, it
And
does.
tonight, unfortunately, James is not producing. We've got our old producer back. By old, I don't mean old. Well, I suppose she is old.
No,
but
she's not
I'm
old.
talking about the one we used to have, Belinda. And I always get nervous because Belinda always does something weird while we are trying to do a live show. Like talk in my ear about a totally different topic.
Yeah, I know.
Or suddenly freeze the screen behind me. Or she's actually got a horrible
got
streak to her.
superpowers.
She's got unbelievable powers. Absolutely. You want to talk or should I
Yes,
talk?
no, let me just wait, what are we doing first?
All right,
For the
folks, it's
messages.
exciting stuff. Okay, before I even do that, it's Thursday night, which is exciting because it's mathematical literacy, and more importantly, it's quarter to Friday. And tomorrow is a great day for all hockey players in the Joburg area. Because tomorrow, the top 16 hockey schools are going to participate, or the top 16 hockey schools in Joburg anyway, are going to participate in a huge tournament. So I wish all those guys out there the best of luck, but more importantly, I wish my team the best of luck, and that's the St. boys. So Dan and your team out there, everything of the best, and I'll see you on the Astro tomorrow.
All right, cool. But what are we doing?
Well, we're doing map work. Okay, we're doing map work. That's what we're doing tonight, folk. And we're going to start the lesson off, well, I'll tell you after Looney's spoken.
Okay, cool. Everything of the best to the St. boys and Dan and your team. Hopefully, you guys will do best and you won't be acting crazy on the turf. We wish you everything of the best. So, back to Matslet. How to get a hold of us, facebook.com/learnextra. On Twitter, @learnextra. And then if you want to download the show notes, the videos, and the schedules, it's on learn.mindset.co.za. And then congratulations to Morongwa Khadle for winning this awesome Casio calculator, yay, from the Taste Yourself competition. How you win, if you want to be like Morongwa, all you need to do is complete the Taste Yourself questions, fill in the entry form, fill in all your details correctly, click the submit button, and you have until tomorrow at 12 in the afternoon to enter. So you can watch the show, go take a nap, wake up, and then maybe think of it, oh yeah, I want to enter the competition. Then you can enter the competition. But remember, guys, entries close Friday at 12 in the afternoon. Friday is tomorrow because today is quarter to Friday.
Quarter to Friday.
Okay, cool, yeah. Let's
All right. Did you ever play hockey at school,
No.
Looney?
Netball, not
Netball.
hockey.
Okay, so you at least did something.
Yes, of course. I played netball. I played tennis. I was in the steel band. I did drama. So I was quite active at
In
school.
the steel band.
Yes. I
What
play
did you
steel
do,
band.
steel or?
No, man. You know those steel pans you play, the band? You don't know.
No, I never heard of it.
Joburg people, that's why.
Sorry. All right, folk, let's get on with today's lesson. Today, we are focusing on map work. Now, you'll remember last week, if you tuned in, that we did a whole section on looking at scale. How to calculate the actual distance from one place to another if I can actually measure the distance on a map. So if I give you a map and you measure the distance from one town to another, you can use the scale to actually find the real distance. And it actually got quite complicated towards the end. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at map work. And remember, scale work is a small little section in this whole vast topic of maps. We thought we'd do something different tonight. We're going to start the lesson by showing you where we are. And when I say we, I'm talking about where the studio is located in South Africa. All right. So behind me, you will see that there is a wonderful map, and it should be on your TV screen now. You'll see there's a little red dot, and that little red dot represents the studios. If I were to zoom right in, you'd actually see the huge, big, satellite dishes, which are used to broadcast the show. Okay, so where that little red dot is, that's where we are. And you can actually see the buildings, you can see where the roads are. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tool, this. Let me tell you how to get hold of it. Go to your PC, type in, or when you get to school tomorrow, go to your school's PC, type in www.google. Google will come up, you click on maps, and then you can type any address and see where that address is. You can even type your own home address and see where your home is, and then you can do what I'm going to do. You can expand that whole map and see where you're located in South Africa, and hopefully that's going to work. Okay, so back to our TV screen. That's what we see on our image. That's the buildings. That's what it looks like in 3D. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to change it to look like a map. Well, that's the general idea anyway. Okay, and there it is. There's the map. Okay, so now, and you can see where we are. We're 7 Dover Street. Right, that little red dot shows us where we are. We're now going to zoom out. So our first zoom takes place. You can see where we are, and we're going further out. Hopefully. We just got to wait for our, what do you call it, internet connection to click in here for us. So there we're zooming out, and we're going to just keep zooming, and hopefully eventually you'll be able to see where we are in South Africa. And so the image is just trying to come together quickly. You can see where we are in relation to Sandton. We're going to keep zooming out. There we go. Wow, that's really zoomed out big time. You can see where Sandton is, where North Cliff is. Let's just keep going, and hopefully we'll be able to zoom out eventually and see the whole of South Africa. Okay, there it's busy zooming out for us. It does take a little while because the map's got to think about what we're actually asking it to do. Okay. So there it is. Ah, nice. Now we're beginning to see more of South Africa. Let's just give the map a little bit of time to adjust. There it is already. Now we can see we've got Durban towards the bottom right-hand side of our screen. So you can see where we located in Gauteng and in relation to Durban. Let's just keep zooming out. Ah, fantastic. That's where we are in Southern Africa, right at that particular point. Okay, that's a phenomenal, phenomenal tool. So you can actually say, you know what, guys, we are located towards the center of South Africa. That's where our studios are. That's where we're broadcasting from. That's where I'm standing. So you might be down here in Port Elizabeth, but we're sending the messages all the way from Johannesburg. You might be in Cape Town. That's where we're talking from. And you know, technology is a phenomenal thing. It really is. I don't know what you think, Aluni, but
Awesome.
to me, the fact that I can talk here in Johannesburg, and you can not only hear, but you can see me within a matter of milliseconds all the way in Cape Town or all the way in Durban, it just boggles the mind. In fact, I'm still trying to grasp the whole technology thing, Looney, because to me, I can't even understand how a telephone works. I mean, how is it that I can pick up a phone and talk to someone and my voice, my actual voice, goes in a little wire all the way through to the other side? Even more complicated is how a cell phone works. How I can talk, my voice now goes flying through the sky, reaches someone else's phone, and that's another huge peculiar thing. How my voice knows that from this phone it's got to go to that particular phone. It doesn't go to everybody's phone, just one phone in particular. And that person can say, hello, recognize my voice, and then have a conversation with me. That is just phenomenal. Okay. I mean, our brain, or mankind's brain, not my brain, I can't say our brain because I can't think of it at all. But the fact that a man's brain could put this whole thing together is phenomenal. So use your technology if possible. You go to Google Maps, type in your address, see where you live, and see where that fits in relation to South Africa. Okay. I wonder if we'd be able to zoom out even more. Should we give it a go?
And then you'll see Africa.
Should we do that? Let's try, okay? So I'm going to, and the other nice thing about this whole thing, of course, is I can just bring the whole map down. Okay, let's try and zoom out a little bit more. My giddy aunt. There we are, okay? In relation to the whole world, that's where we are. right there in South Africa. There's South America. There's North America. What a phenomenal tool. I'm getting carried away now, and we're not here to get carried away, so let's get on with today's topic. Okay, and like we said, we are going to talk, I'm going to kill this so that it speeds up our other program a little bit. We are going to do, or our topic today is solving map problems. Okay, so what are we doing in today's lesson? Well, first of all, and we're just going to wait for it to speed up. Here we go. In this lesson, we'll be introduced and cover questions about maps showing seating plans, like classrooms, cinemas, etc. Maps indicating the layout of a shopping center or buildings and sports fields. National road maps, strip maps, street maps, housing complex maps, costs involved with travel, time of travel, scale, and direction. Sure, folk, that's a lot of stuff that we're attempting to cover this lesson. Here's a little secret. We're not going to get through all that, okay? But hopefully if we get a little bit of time next week, we'll be able to finish off what we haven't done this week. I'm not sure what we're doing next week at the end, but if it is still a little bit on maps, we can carry on. So there's a lot of work here. Let's get going. Right, first of all, our challenge question for the day. Here it goes. The distance from George to Bloemfontein is 773 kilometers. Will a vehicle be able to complete the entire journey if the fuel consumption is 11.5 kilometers per litre and the vehicle has a petrol tank size of 45 litres? Okay, what do I mean by a fuel consumption? What we mean by fuel consumption is this: that every car, depending on the size of the engine and the make of the car, as well as the age of the car, can only travel a certain distance on 1 litre of petrol. And we call that our fuel consumption. So in the problem behind me, we're saying that our car has a fuel consumption of 11.5 kilometers. In other words, if I put 1 litre into the tank of petrol for this car, I will be able to travel 11.5 kilometers. And then I'm going to run out of petrol. So if I put in another litre, I can do another 11.5 kilometers. So obviously, guys, we don't put a litre in, travel 11.5, we fill up the tank. And that brings us to the next question, okay? So, and the question is, in fact, that's still part of this question, is saying, if I put in 45 litres of petrol, and on 1 litre, I can travel 11.5 kilometers, will I make it from Bloemfontein to George if I'm traveling 700, if that distance is 773 kilometers? Jeez, that's an interesting question. Let's look at the next one. The next one says, determine how long the drive will take if the vehicle travels at an average speed of 90 kilometers per hour and the driver stops twice, once for 10 minutes and then again for 55 minutes. Okay, interesting question, a lot of work involved. If you can do that, sure, there's so many concepts that you can then, let's try that again. There's so many concepts that you understand. Okay, let's get on, guys. Time is running out. So, when we look at maps, now, folks, we have maps, and in our maps, we have different types of maps. We have something here called a, let's just get a nice yellow pen, a national road map. And I'm going to show you just now what all these maps are. But we also have something called a strip map. We have something called street maps. We have something called complex maps. And then we have these two maps called a route map and an elevation map. And a route map and an elevation map normally is used between 2 points. In other words, let's say we were even looking at an event like the Comrades Marathon. And we wanted to know, well, what route do these runners follow? That's something else I never understand. Why would you want to run that when you can go by car? But anyway, maybe there is a certain route that you can follow. We call that a route map. Then the runners also want to know, well, how high am I running up, or how far am I running down the hill? How big are these hills between Maritzburg and Durban? And then we introduce another type of map called an elevation map. Okay, So let's move on and let's have a look here. So firstly, this is something called a national road map. Now, by the name, you can tell that a national road map is a map which indicates all the national roads that one can travel. So were I to study this national road map, I can see that were I to drive from Cape Town all the way to Johannesburg, the main route I would go, or the most direct route I would go, is following along the N1. There it goes, okay? So I'm following N1. What does N stand for? It stands for national. So I'm going along the one road that crosses the nation, and it's the road number 1. National Road 1. If I were to travel, let's say from Johannesburg to Durban, I would then follow this national road over here, which is called the N3. Let's say I wanted to drive from Cape Town to Durban along the coast. I would now follow this wonderful road here called the N2. My goodness, that N2 is really, really a long road. But there are other little roads, like for example, or not little roads, there are other national roads that we don't always talk about. But there's the road from between, let's say, Johannesburg and Kimberley. And we call that the N14, or the National Road 14. Here it is over here. Okay. So, what are the advantages of a national road map? We'll pick that up after the ad break.
All right. Is it time already?
It's time already.
Okay. Mindset is let's go for a quick break. We'll see you. Don't go anywhere. Straight after this. Welcome back, guys. I hope you guys are still enjoying the lesson. We are doing map work, maps, national road maps. That's the picture on the board there. So I won't take over the lesson. I'll let Pete do it.
Thanks for the enthusiasm there. Right, let's keep going, Looney. Right, folks, so we started speaking about different maps just before the ad break, and one of the maps we were looking at was something called the National Road Map. And it's on the screen now behind me, and it should be coming onto your TV screen now. And you can see that this road has this map has a whole lot of roads shown, and please note they're only showing the main roads. Now, what's the advantage of such a map? The advantage of such a map is this, that I can pick out the main routes that I can follow from one place to another. So let's say here I am in Johannesburg and I decide I'm going off on holiday to Port Elizabeth. And because I'm going on that holiday, I need to know more or less where I'm going. In fact, I need to know where I'm going, otherwise that's going to be problematic, okay? You don't just get in your car and say, let's go. Hopefully we land up in PE, okay? You've got to have a plan. So let's pretend we're doing that. We're going from Joburg to Port Elizabeth. What am I going to do? Well, there are various routes I can actually take. And this is the great thing about this. There's not one particular route. I can take a number of routes if I want to, and they're all good roads, these national roads of ours. So here I am in Johannesburg, and I can say, you know what, I've got family in Durban, so I'm going to go and visit my family all the way in Durban, right? And then I'm going to carry on along this N2 past East London and get to Port Elizabeth, okay? Or, and let's take a different color. Why? Because I want to. Let's go, let's take a pink. Or I can say, you know what? I have got my brother's fiance in Durban. Her name's Megan. I don't like her. I don't want to see her. Let's stay away from Durban. That's not really true, but let's just pretend. Okay, so here we go. So from Joburg, I can actually travel along the N1, go to Bloemfontein, pass Bloemfontein, carry along the N1, then join the N9, change to the N10, join the N2, and get to Port Elizabeth. That's probably a little bit of a quicker route. Or I could say, you know, I want to see a bit of the coast, but I don't want to go via Durban. Let's take now a different color. We're going to try green. My producer will tell me in my ear if she can see it or not. But we can follow along the N1, past Bloemfontein, then join the N6. and then carry along the N2 and get again to Port Elizabeth. So my national road map is there to help me plot the route. But along my journey, I've got to make certain stops. And now we come across something called a strip map. Now, the reason why it's called a strip map is because we're taking a strip of the country and we're focusing on that strip. Now, here I've got a strip map showing us from Bloemfontein, and it's going down, it was actually going down to PE, but it's kind of changed. So we had to cut it off, and let's say I am living in Bloemfontein, and I want to go to, should we say Burgersdorp? Here's Burgersdorp right over here. Why you'd want to go to Burgersdorp, I have no idea, but let's pretend we're going to Burgersdorp. Do you think they make burgers in Burgersdorp? Oh, that's just stupid.
Really?
Not. All right, so
Wow.
here we go, and now I need to say, well, how far am I going to have to travel? And guys, now we start seeing these weird and wonderful things on the side. And that's helping me determine different distances that I would have to travel. So let's say even from Kimberley. Now I know that to get from Kimberley all the way down to Bloemfontein, I've got to travel 165 kilometers. So the distance between Kimberley and Bloemfontein, 165 kilometers. The difference between Bloemfontein and Smithfield, there it is 132 kilometers. Or I could say the distance from Kimberley to Smithfield, and you can see here, we're starting at 0, okay? All the way down to Bloemfontein, we've traveled 165 kilometers. All the way to Smithfield is 295. So the nice thing is about a strip chart, it shows you the total distance that you would have traveled from your departure, let's say Kimberley, all the way along. And then it also shows you the distance between the main towns where you could actually stop, maybe to fill up with petrol, or maybe just to stop and have a break from your travel. And that's exactly what we'd use strip maps for. Now you will know that that national road map showed all just the main national roads. If you look at our strip map, you can see that along the strip map, we're showing you the N1, there it is there, okay, and the N6, there, the N6 is over there. But not only are we showing you national routes, we're showing you smaller routes. So if I were to have said to you, listen guys, we're going to Burgersdorp, then I'd have to say, you know what, we're traveling along the N1, but then we're changing along this route here. And it's very small on your screen, you won't be able to see it, but it actually is known as Route 58. But now from our national road map, I would never have known that. But it gives me an idea of where I've got to go along the main routes, and the strip map defines it even smaller. And the strip map also helps me with the distances. So let's say I've got a car, and my car can only go, let's say, 400 kilometers on a tank of petrol. With the use of a strip map, I can see different distances and say, wait, if I travel from this part to this town, okay, it's 350 kilometers. The next town is 500 kilometers. I'm not going to make 500 kilometers. I better stop at that town. Okay? And that's what a strip map is going to help me do as well. It also helps me find the finer routes as well as know where I'm going to stop along that route. So we started from a global perspective, not a global, a national perspective, where we've looked at all the national roads. Now we've zoomed it down to one specific route. Now we're going to focus in even more. And what we're now saying is this, that as I travel from one place to another, I pass different towns. But when I pass those towns, I might get lost, not knowing where to go in those towns. So we started nationally, we then found a strip, now we're zooming in on a town itself. And we now get something called a street map. And there it is over there. Don't worry about this little red dot. I was looking for something when we plotted that. Okay, but there is a town map of Port Elizabeth. And I can see that if I'm in Port Elizabeth and let's say I have to go to this spot over here, why do I have to go to this spot? Because it's a little bed and breakfast and I want to stop along the route and have a sleep. So I can then work out what route I've got to go and what roads I've got to get onto and follow in order to get to my little bed and breakfast or my little hotel to spend the night and sleep there before I carry on with my journey. Started national, went strip, now we're in a town. Now from the town we can get even smaller. And what do we mean by that? Well, let's say I'm going to visit a friend and he lives in a complex. Okay? And I get to this complex and my goodness, it's got loads of houses in it. But I want to go to a specific house. Then I need a map of the complex so I know where I must go and how to get my friend's house or how to get to my friend's house in that complex. So our next thing then is a complex map. Or besides a complex, you can also get a map of a school which shows you the whole complexity of that school or the whole layout of that school. So here is one over here that I found on the internet, and it was actually a school, I think it was from England. So we found this and I thought it would be a good thing to look at. So when we look at this now, we can see that we've got a school. The school's got tennis courts, it's got bus stops. Here's the main building of the school. It's got a football ground. And why do I need that? Well, I need that if I get to the school and I want to find out where are the basketball courts. Okay? So I know I'm going to park. Here I park. How do I get from this point, and let's use a different color, from this point to the basketball courts along here? Well, now I've got the map in front of me. I know exactly where to walk and where to go to. But like I said, it's also used in huge complexes. So you get to a spot, now where do I go? I want to find my friend's house. He's house number 385, and there are 4,000 houses in the complex. Where do I go? I'd follow a little complex map. Got it? Okay. Now, next thing we're going to look at is something called a route map. Now, a route map can be looking at the route from one place to another, or it can be like in an event. And early on, we spoke about the Comrades Marathon. So if you look on your TV screen now, you will see that here is part of the map or the route map that shows the Comrades Marathon. You can see over here, we're starting at Pietermaritzburg, and I've shown it up to Cato Ridge. I've actually cut this part off so it would fit on your screen and so that we could enlarge it. Okay. Now there's some interesting things that come out of it. Firstly, there's these little blue things, and I know you can't see it on your TV screen, and that's because the map's really been reduced here, but that shows us the water points. Where the water points are located along the different routes. Okay? It also shows us here, for example, that when I leave Pietermaritzburg, I got 89 kilometers to go. Yes, like that's a far way to run. Hey? It's like crazy. Get yourself a taxi or a train or a car, but don't run it. It's crazy. Okay, so I know I've got 89 kilometers to go. When I get to Polly Shorts, and we've heard about this wonderful Polly Shorts. Remember, Polly Shorts is that, if you watch the Comrades on TV, it's that very steep hill that all the runners complain about. But when I get to Polly Shorts, if I'm running from Maritzburg, I've got 80 kilometers to go. Okay? When I get just past the Lion Park, I've got 70 kilometers to go. When I get to Cato Ridge, I got 60 kilometers to go. Lovely route map showing me the route of the race, okay, and how it can also show me different things. For example, where my water tables will be allocated, what areas I'll be running through, and such like. Then we have something called an elevation map, and I love this map because I think it's so descriptive. But here's an elevation map, again, showing what happens when I run from Pietermaritzburg all the way down to Durban. Now here you will see that it's the amount of distance that's already been run. When I start Maritzburg, I've run nothing. Okay? Then when I've completed the race, I would have done 89 kilometers. Not only does it show me the distance, but it also shows me the height that I will be at certain parts of that race. So straight away I can see, oh, there's Polly Shorts. That's the part we saw on the other map. And I remember when I get a Polly Shorts, I've only run 9 kilometers. I've still got another 80 to go. Okay? Here's the highest point of the race. Now, if I were running this race, I'd say, uh-oh, watch out for this part. There's quite a steep hill over here. There's also quite a horrible little hill coming up over there. There's Drummond, and Drummond has a bit of a horrible hill. Look at Cowies. Just when you think you're at the end of the race, there's a little horrible uphill. Yes, but this is a lovely part of the race. Running downhill. Although I've heard running downhill is more taxing on your knees than anything else. But do you understand what information I'm getting from this? And that's called an elevation map. So I can see exactly the different heights, where I'll be at different parts of the race. Cool. Right, let's go to our very first question of the day. I can't believe we're only on the first question of the day, really. All we've done is just summarize what we're going to do, and we're only going to start it now. We're halfway through the program. Right, in the beginning of the lesson, I said that there are different maps we have to know. One of the maps we also have to do has got nothing to do with the actual street map or road map. It's looking at the map layout of certain things like cinemas or huge big stadiums. Okay, where will I sit? They could also ask you a question about an aeroplane, where they show you the seat layout of an aeroplane. And now you decide, oh, I'd like to sit on that seat. Why? Because it's close to the loo. Or, gee, I'd love to sit on this seat. Why? Because it's on the wing. Okay? And they always say that's the strongest part of the plane, don't they? Okay? And the most steadiest, because the wing and everything revolves around. So if you hit a lot of turbulence, that I might be talking a load of rubbish, but I like to believe that, so I go for the wing. Okay? The back is like, whee, and the front is, but okay. So, here now we have a question, and it's looking at the seating plan of a cinema. Right. So there's my cinema, and we've all been to cinemas, a movie, okay? And as you walk in, gee, there are just seats everywhere. Now, normally when you walk in, they give you a ticket, and the ticket says seat number C42. And we've got to be able to find that seat number C42. So it's a very basic concept, a small grade 10 or a paper 1 type question, very basic, no tricks involved at all. Don't you hate it when you go to a movie and you're about to go in and someone's sitting on your seat?
Yes, so that's irritating.
It's so irritating, because then you've got to say, excuse me, you're sitting in my seat. Okay? And they say, no, I'm not. You say, yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Just show me your ticket. You see, you're supposed to be that side, you know. And sorry. And then everyone, it's terrible. That's why when I go to a movie, I like to get there early.
Yeah.
So I can sit down and know, this is my seat, boy. Don't come anywhere near me. All right, so here we go. Cinema, there it is. There's the screen. Now what we're going to do is this. How many seats are in the cinema? Okay. So to calculate the seats, we can do one of two things, folks. Either we can sit there painfully and count every single dot, or we can use a little bit of mathematics. Now, Looney, you're going to help me here.
Mm-hmm.
How many seats across are there?
14.
They're 14. Okay, folk, I don't know if you can see that on your screen because I know it's very light. So I've got 14 seats across. How many down? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now we know that because A to N is 13, but there's a double A row.
Yes.
Okay? So that times 14.
Yes.
Can you tell me, why do you think there's a double A row? Why didn't they make that A, then the next one B, the next one C? Why do you think that could have happened?
Double A. I don't know.
You know, I was trying to think of that, and I couldn't think of a reason. The only thing I possibly could imagine is that they built the cinema and realized, just like Oaks, we can fit another row in here, but we've already numbered everything A, B, C.
Okay.
Let's just call this row AA. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. If you're out there and you know exactly why the first row in this particular cinema is called AA, let us know. But they're not all like that, hey? Normally, it's A, B, C, D kind of thing. Okay, so how many seats are there? Well, there's 14 times 14. And taking out our calculator, we are going to say, right, 14 multiplied by 14 gives me an answer of 196. So I know this cinema has 196 seats. The next one. which row is furthest from the screen. And that's straightforward. If that's the screen, that's the row that's furthest away. And it's row N. Okay. That's kind of important to know, hey? Especially for you guys out there that are going on a date and you want to sit in the back row of the movie. It would be horrendous if you went to row AA thinking it was at the back. And you got to that row and wow, there was a screen and everyone was watching the two of you in front there. Not cool. Okay. I remember once going to a movie and it was reversed the other way. Okay. Where the A row was at the back and the N row was right in front. Why they did that, I have no idea. And the woman said, in any particular seat, she was a really friendly one, in any particular seat. I said, yes, please, row N. And I said that proudly, hey? And then my wife and I were like, screen here, we couldn't see the whole screen. It was huge, absolutely. Have you ever seen a guy's nose so close up and so big? You see everything, it's grotesque. Okay, so that's the number of seats in row, the row right at the back. Now my next question that they ask us is this. List the seat numbers of seats A to E shown on the seating plan. Okay, so row A. What is row A? Well, we know it's, or seat A rather, is row AA number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's AA8. So if I'm seated over here, what's my ticket got to say? It's got to say AA8. That's it. Go away. Right. Next one. B. B is F. So if I'm sitting at spot B, I'm in row F, seat number 1, 2, 3, 4. C means I'm in row number L, and seat number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And finally, D seat means I'm in row N, and seat number 2. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of all these markings. And you'll know exactly why just now, because I need to show some markings on here for my next question. Okay, here we go. Now, the next question states this. You want to go to a movie with 3 friends. Do you have 3 friends?
Yeah.
Oh, more than I do. Okay, cool. So you go to a movie with 3 friends. You get to the cinema late, so seats are limited. You are given the following 3 options. Option 1, seat D1, C2, C1, C2, C3. Okay? Let's mark that down. D1, so it's this seat over here, or that seat, and that seat. That's one of the options. Okay? You get given another option, so I'm going to choose another color. I'm going to go for white. The other option is this. M14, M13, F5, F6. You remember the F5, F6. I'll remember the M13, M14.
Okay.
So M13 and M14. And what was yours?
F5, F6.
F5 and F6. Cool? So you got the pink option or you've got the white option.
Okay.
Right. Let's find another color. Let's go green. So our last option is this. A11, A13, sorry, AA11, AA13, AA15, and A12.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the
12 and
A12.
15.
Okay, so
Oh, okay.
11, 13, and
15.
right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, and then they also said 15.
15.
Oh, great. That's like sitting on the arm. Okay, I wouldn't choose that option at all. And what was your seat number?
A12.
A12. Okay, so A12 is going to be this guy over here. Sorry. Let's get rid of that guy. Little rubber. There we go. Cool. So, looking at that, I need to ask you, Looney, which option would you like? The pink option, the white option, or the green option?
The pink option.
Pink option. Why the
Yes.
pink option?
Because you guys are sitting closer together. Like, one is just at the back, so you can still, like, go, hey, friend. Like, you can still talk. But the others are scattered, so you can't exactly communicate. And the last one, like, there's not
Yeah,
even
there's
a
no seat there, so I wouldn't even go for that option.
Yeah.
I agree. Right, guys, the exciting thing is this. There's no right or wrong answer, as long as you can give a good explanation. So you like this over here.
Yes.
Now, personally, I don't like that. Personally, I like this, and I'll tell you why. Because if that happened to me, I'd be the poor little boy all by himself at the back, because
No.
nobody loves me.
No, but
Okay.
you must have an understanding with your friends. Like, you can still talk to them and be like, hey.
But here, there are two guys next to each other.
No,
Yeah,
it's
two next.
too
But do you
separated.
understand? This is quite exciting because you've got an idea, I've got an idea, and you
Yeah.
know what? If the examiner asks me that in the exam, he cannot mark me wrong because we're allowed our opinion here. Okay. The other thing we're allowed is an ad break, and I think we've got
Alright.
to have one.
And then Belinda goes, she'd go to a different movie. But anyway, guys.
That's right. Our producer said I would go to a different movie.
Yes.
Okay.
But let's
Shane.
take a very quick break and I'll see you straight after this. Welcome back, guys, from that very quick break. Quick shout out to Say too. He says he's watching the show and he enjoys the show and he's always watching and he's always with his family watching. So thank you for watching with your family. We love you very much, and yeah, hope you are glued to your screen, concentrating on what Pete's gonna teach you.
Okay, I suppose that's my cue to carry on, so let's do that then. Right, how's it, guys? Welcome back. We got our last few minutes. In fact, we're about, well, our producer can't quite tell us. She was trying to calculate it. So, right about 13 minutes or so. Right, folk, lovely map behind us. Very busy, but a great, great map to look at. Now, this could come into a paper one type question. Let's have a look at it. Consider the map below, which shows a portion of Europe. There it is. You can see France, Germany, Prague, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Austria, Hungary, Italy. Right, let's read the questions. Which sea is to the west of Italy? Now remember that in a paper one, an examiner can start with very basic questions just to make sure you're understanding the layout of the map. They're also trying to find out, do you know your different directions? Please understand this comes from a paper one, so they are basic questions. Okay, so here we go. Which sea is to the west of Italy? First thing we need to do is find Italy. Here's Italy over here, the sea to the west. Now we know our directions. North, this is west, this is east, and our south is at the bottom. So we want to know what sea's to the west, and there it is there, the Ligurian Sea. Next question. What separates the United Kingdom and France? The United Kingdom and France, there's the United Kingdom. Here is France over here. What separates it? It's the English Channel. Okay, very straightforward questions this, guys. The examiner is actually forcing you just to take note of the map. Okay, now, the capital of each country is indicated with a star. What's the capital of Poland? Here's Poland over here. My capital has got a little star, and it's the country of Warsaw. Okay, now, next question. Of which country is Budapest the capital? Now we've got to find the actual capital. You notice the difference between those two questions. The one question was they gave you the country and said, hey, what's the capital? Now they're giving you the capital and saying, hey, what's the country? So, Budapest, where is Budapest? I should be able to pick it up straight away because I've been there. It is. Here it is there, Budapest, and the country is Hungary. Absolutely. Talking of Hungary, what's for supper tonight?
I don't know.
Because the producers are always eating and we just let them. Okay, next one. In which direction? Now this is an interesting question. Okay. In fact, let's first do this one. Which country is north of Slovenia? So country north of Slovenia. Where is Slovenia? Let's look for it. Don't call it Slovakia. That's Slovakia. Okay. Slovenia is over here. Which country is to the north of it? Austria. Okay. Next question. Now, which direction does the Seine River in France flow? Okay. So a lot of guys will look at that and say, well, first of all, let's just find the river, and let's find it. Here it is over here. I'm going to do it in yellow on this map. That's the river over there. Now you look at that and you say to yourself, myself, which direction is this river flowing? Now, folk, it can flow one of two ways. Either we're going that way, okay, oops, what on earth happened there? Or we're going this way. Now, if we're going that way, folk, we will be traveling in a northwesterly direction. If we're traveling this way, we're going to be traveling in a southeasterly direction. So, let's see if Looney is focused here tonight. Looney, here's my river. Do you think it's flowing in a northwest direction, or is it flowing in a southeasterly direction?
Southeast.
Southeasterly. Absolutely wrong, hey? Why? Because a river goes where? To the sea. Okay. So here is the sea, so it's flowing towards the English Channel.
Oh, okay.
Right. Now I know what you're thinking, and my producer just said in my ear that makes no sense because it means it's flowing down, flowing upwards. It's not flowing upwards. Here it's very high, and so just because the map looks like it doesn't mean it's flowing up. Okay. This is where we need an elevation map, don't we?
Okay.
Where you can see how high the mountains are and where the sea is, and that the river will be flowing down. Okay, bit of a trick question that. You've got to think about that quite carefully and use a little bit of thought process. Nice question. Guys, we're only down to about 7.5 minutes, and I've got to jump to our challenge question. So we're on question number, what question was this? Number 3. We're going to go past 4, we're going to go past 5, we're going to go past 6, and we're jumping to our challenge question. I'm really sorry about that, because there were some phenomenal questions there in 4, 5, and 6. Have a look at our challenge question. The distance from George to Bloemfontein is 773 kilometers. Will a vehicle be able to complete the entire journey if the fuel consumption is 11.5 kilometers per litre? And the vehicle has a petrol tank size of 45 litres. Okay, so we know that our car can travel 1 litre, he does 11.5 kilometres. Okay. Our tank can take 45 litres. I think it was? Yes, it is. Okay, 45 litres. So we want to work out, well, how many kilometers can I travel in that 45, with those 45 litres? Guys, how did I get, let's use a different color, the 1 litre to 45 litres? Looney, multiplied by 45, she says boldly. So the 11.5, I'm also going to multiply by 45. And that makes sense, guys. If I can do 11.5 kilometers with 1 litre, 45 litres, I can do 11.5 kilometers 45 times, right? So, multiply that out. We're going to do it with the calculator so we don't have to think. We're going to say, right, we've got 45 litre tank. Each litre we travel 11.5 kilometers equals, and I get an answer of 517.5. So 517.5 kilometers is what I can travel on 1 tank of petrol. Will I make the entire journey? Well, how far is that journey? Let's have a look. The journey is 773 kilometers. So if I got to travel 773, but I can only travel 517, guys, I'm not going to make the whole journey. Okay? My wife is going to be pushing the last 200 odd kilometers. And she gets really grouchy when she's got to push the car. So, I'm going to have to stop for petrol. Got it? Let's look at the next one. The next one says this. Determine how long the drive will take if the vehicle travels at an average speed of 90 kilometers per hour. And the driver stops twice. Once for 10 minutes, and then again for 55 minutes. Lenny, why do you think he's going to stop for 55 minutes?
Break.
For a break. What will he do in that break?
Stretch.
Stretch, okay, you can't do this. Is not stretching exercise for 55 minutes. What else is he going to do in that 55-minute break?
Petrol.
Put in the petrol. We just said you're going to need to put in petrol
Yes.
because otherwise my wife's got to push us the last few kilometers. Okay? So I'm going to stop for petrol. And when I stop for petrol, they take quite a while to put the petrol in. I might then have to say, you know what, let's get something to eat. And so we go off and we get something to eat at the shop. So it's going to take us around about 55 minutes. Why would I only stop for 10 minutes? Looney. Now, you'd stop for your little stretch. Okay, so you're driving along, say, sheesh, I'm tired, hold on, let's stop. I stop on the side of the road, have a little bit of coffee, look at the view, stretch, get in the car, and boom, away we go again. Got that? Okay. Or we've stopped for 10 minutes because my son is at the back of the car. He's lost control and vomited on me. I've had to stop, pull over, change my shirt, get back in the car, and carry on driving. Okay? But generally, it's to stop for a stretch or something. Now, here's the question. How long will the drive take? Now, we're saying we're traveling an average speed of 90 kilometers an hour. Now, guys, if I'm traveling from Bloemfontein to Port Elizabeth, we actually showed that right at the beginning of the program. And we showed we'd be spending a lot of time on a national road. And a national road, we travel at a speed of approximately 120 kilometers an hour. So why then do I say my average speed is only going to be 90? Yeah? When I'm driving along, okay, and guys, I suddenly get to a toll thing. Okay, toll, what do you call those things?
Toll gate.
Toll gate, okay. I don't suddenly just keep going 120. You'll see the person sitting behind the toll's eyes get bigger and bigger if you keep going 120 through that zoom gate. Okay, you've got to kind of slow down, stop, hand in the money, they give you change, and you slowly go off again. There might even be a queue. But the point is, you're not going to start, say I'm leaving Joburg, I'm going to travel 120 kilometers and not go any slower or any faster the whole way. It's never going to happen, guys. Okay, especially when you go through a town and the speed limit is about 60 kilometers an hour. You're not going to keep going 120, boom, right down the main street. Okay, that's going to be problematic. So our average speed is 90 kilometers an hour. Now the total distance that we've got to cover is 773 kilometers. We are saying in 1 hour we do 90 kilometers. So how many hours are there? And out comes our calculator, and we're going to say, right, we've got 773. We're going to divide that by 90, and we get an answer of 8,58888. 8,5, I'm going to say 8,59 hours. Okay, but there's more breaks we got to have. The first break was how long? 10 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, so we're getting a short break of 10 minutes. Now take note, guys, we're working in hours. If I'm working in hours, I can't suddenly change to minutes. So I'm going to keep that in hours and say 10 minutes is actually 10 over 60 hours, plus my next break, which was 55 minutes, which is 55 over 60. We're then going to add that up and get our answer as hours. Okay, and I really wish I could finish it, but the producer's moaning at me and saying, hey, time's up, get off the air, and that's what I got to do. Finally then from me, good luck again to my hockey boys. See you tomorrow on the Astro, and may we come home with gold medals.
Cool. Thank you so much for the lesson. Mindset is we've come to the end of our show, so thank you so much for tuning in. Everything of the best to Pete's Hockey Boys. We hope you guys win and everything. We love you very much, and we'll see you next week to carry on with the awesome lesson. But until then, bye guys.